Hi, everybody. Um, just wanted to get on here and kind of introduce myself and go through the syllabus so that we don't have to do that all together over a virtual meeting, which would be completely and totally awful. I'm Caitlin. You can call me Caitlin. Um, I'm going to talk you through the syllabus and then give you kind of a very, very minor brief assignment that I would love for you to do before Thursday. Uh, but mostly I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of like what's the class going to be about, and so you can kind of get to know what to expect and what to anticipate. So I'm going to try to share my screen and see if we can do that right now. Let's see. Okay, good. So I believe you should be able to see this. Then I will make it bigger for everyone. Okay, so for now, uh, this is going to be the email address that you can reach me at. I'm going to a convocation tomorrow. Ideally, I'll have access to my actual email address through Southern University. If that doesn't happen or it is delayed, then here is an email address that you can reach me at. I'm not entirely sure that this is even going to be sent through that because I can't quite get a hold on Teams, even though I'm kind of okay at this, but we'll see what happens. It says Zoom office hours are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 11, and by appointment. That's probably going to be Teams once I get it set up. And those are my office hours, meaning you can just drop in and say hi and talk about assignments or chat with me about things that are bothering you or exciting you. It's whatever you want them to be. And I realize that you may have classes on Fridays, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 10 to 11. So I am going to be obviously more available by appointment. So if you want to speak to me and you can't quite meet me in those times, I'm happy to adjust and go out of my way to talk to you guys. My Tuesday, Thursday are pretty booked up, but my Monday, Wednesday, Friday are not. So as long as you give me a little bit of advance notice, I can probably make that work. Okay. The course text, all of the, well, I guess the pocket style manual is not online. We're going to be referring to that occasionally when we're writing papers, but it's much more important that you get the SCUBR composition handbook, which should have been provided online, I'm told, and you maybe have already had access to it. We're going to be looking at that quite a bit as we move through these different assignments that you're going to have to do. I think there is a small fee. I'm not sure how much it is, but you will need to have access to that. Definitely have a college level dictionary, but I will also teach you how to use an online dictionary, and then also there will be additional readings on Moodle. And if Moodle's not quite working on time, then I'll just email them to you. But everything else will be things that I send to you that are PDFs or Word docs. Okay, so a little bit about hybrid. COVID obviously has made our lives way more difficult than usual. We're not going to meet in person, at least not for the beginning part of the semester. We'll meet through Microsoft Teams in order to discuss text and writing strategies. Sometimes I will break you guys up into groups so that there's 20 of you, so that 10 of you are together in the first 40 minutes, and then the last 40 minutes, another 10 of you are there. This really helps when we're discussing a text really directly. I think it's difficult when 20 people are trying to speak over each other. That can be confusing and obnoxious, to be honest. So for some of the classes that we have, I'm going to split you guys up, and I'll switch those teams around so that you can interact with different people and always have different groups and always have different faces that you're seeing. Some will be the same, but we'll try to keep it interesting. That's going to be especially true in the beginning because we're going to be writing kind of personal narratives, and we'll read some personal essays. And so we'll likely break the class up in half for those just so that we can get a better conversation going. So that's just a heads up. I will almost always send you a lecture like this that you are required to watch prior to going to class. This is going to give you the lessons that would be really boring for you to sit and listen to when we're all together in a team meeting. I don't want you to just have to sit there and be quiet. The point of virtual team meetings is that we actually communicate and actually have conversations. So I'll usually give you a short lecture that you can watch when you want and pause it and do other things. But make sure you do it prior to the day we actually meet and the time we actually meet. And I will very occasionally give you quick writes, which are just going to be like simple, easy questions just to kind of talk about your emotional response to some of the text that we read, or your reactions to things, or maybe even what you think the main argument is. It'll be really easy. And I literally mean that I want you to spend no more than 5 to 10 minutes on it. This would be the kind of thing where if we were in a real classroom, for the first 5 or 10 minutes of class, I would give you this quick write assignment. You would write nonstop for 5 minutes and then just turn it in. They won't be graded for grammar. It's really just so I can see your opinion, and maybe gear the class towards things that you guys are interested in. So that's your kind of opportunity to help me determine what we should be talking about. I would love it if during team meetings that you guys show your faces. This will make it easier for us to build a community in the classroom. But also, it's really awkward for me because I'll of course show my face, but it's really uncomfortable for me to just be talking to just like black squares, and it's like talking to a wall, and I never know if anybody's responding. And sometimes I'll ask a question and I just need a head nod like this, and I can't see it, and so it makes my job much more difficult. And I think I can't change what I'm doing if I don't know how you're reacting to it. So this will allow me to know if you guys are completely bored to death, so that I switch gears a little bit. If you don't have access to a computer or the internet, you can always call in to one of these meetings. And of course, that means we can't see your face, but you're still a part of it. And if you don't have access to a phone, then let me know and I will provide something alternative for you. Although it's probably just easier for you to try to join the meeting if you can. I know that this is not ideal at all, and I wish that we were in a classroom, or that it was safe to be in a classroom. Um, and having said that, I really am open to suggestions. So if you think that something could be improved, could be better with the way that classes are going, then please just tell me and I will do my best to kind of accommodate that. Especially if a number of you say it, then I will go out of my way to kind of fix things. And that could be like, please try to figure out a way to do group work, and I will do my best, something like that. Okay, the catalog description is vague, obviously. It really just says that this has an emphasis on writing as a learning thinking process, discussion of and practice and strategies used in pre-writing, writing, and revising expressive, informative, analytical, and argumentative essays. Yeah, that kind of simply says what we're going to be doing. This is really teaching you how to write. I hesitate to say a 5-paragraph essay, but it's teaching you how to write a structured, organized, succinct, effective essay, which will sometimes have 5 paragraphs. And we're going to focus a lot on the writing process of writing a rough draft, writing a rough thesis, writing outlines, doing brainstorms together. All these different things will be a part of it. We will have days where we just have peer editing, where people can look at each other's papers, and I, of course, will do my best to take a look at least one paper that all of you write, in the rough draft stage, I mean. The learning outcomes, hopefully you'll be able to demonstrate an understanding of each mode of writing. So we're going to have a description, a narration, an illustration, a process analysis, and a definition paper, not in that order necessarily. You're going to structure multi-paragraph essays. You should be able to demonstrate the ability to write essays by supporting the thesis statement with really well-developed body paragraphs that include examples, facts, reasons, incidents, and specific details. In other words, evidence. You will hopefully demonstrate competence in grammar, punctuation, mechanics. That is particularly involved in editing after the fact, and you'll be able to use computer technology for research and also just getting assignments, and also for having these chats. I wanted to be more specific, though. We're going to look at a variety of different modes. So we're going to look at essays, but we're also going to look at physical spaces. That's going to be the second paper you write, which is going to be, I think, pretty fun if you're a little open-minded about it. You're going to use different types of rhetorical analysis, and that might be scary, but we're going to talk about that in the first couple days, and I promise it's not hard at all. It's going to be really fun, and I think the tools will help you to look at writing in a different way, and I think it'll make it easier. You're going to write in academic prose, obviously. You'll support your claims effectively with evidence drawn from different texts. You'll have an awareness of the writing process, so you should be able to identify and perform all stages of that. And ideally, towards the end, you'll do a little bit of research, or really towards the middle. So you should be able to write a competent college-level research paper. And I say that like hesitatingly because it's not going to be a like full, heavy awful research paper, but you will have to do a little bit of research. Okay, so these are the policies. Most of your questions are already answered on the syllabus. I very rarely stray from it unless we decide to as a class. Please review it before sending me an email, because usually the answer is on the syllabus and you don't need to ask me the questions. Usually. Sometimes I mess up, and so you do need to ask me. Email is the best way to reach me at any given time. My phone is attached to me. I will respond to most queries within 24 hours, usually even sooner than that. If you are going to email me from like a weird Yahoo or Gmail account that doesn't say your name clearly in it, then you need to introduce yourself immediately in the body of the email. Do not ask me what you may have missed if you are absent. At the end of this little lecture, hopefully I'm going to get your permission to give out your email address to one of your colleagues, and then they can help you figure out what you've missed. Also, I would much rather you come talk to me in office hours if you missed something or if you were absent, because if you write me an email, then I have to go through my entire lesson plan with you and I have to redo it basically, and that's just tiring. So I'd much rather have a conversation with you. It'll go much more quickly. You need to check your email every day. I will send assignment updates and reminders, and most of the time I will cut out assignments. I will say, hey, don't do this. You don't need to do that. That's too much work. I will almost never add work unless I think it's really seriously necessary. So check your emails, because it might mean less work for you, and it also could mean that I pushed a due date back on a paper. So sometimes I will do that. I'll never move a deadline up, but I will sometimes push it back so that you have more time, and you have more time to talk to me or go to the writing center, whatever it requires. We're going to have to practice a lot of respect in this class, particularly because we're going to be in a virtual environment. It's difficult. Sometimes we want to talk over each other. Sometimes it's hard to get our voices in. We'll have to use that like hand raise thing that's on there. We're going to really have to try to be attentive to each other and to listen to each other, and not be having conversations in our rooms when everybody can hear us, things like that. So let's try really, really hard to be respectful of each other and to recognize that it's very difficult to speak in a class environment, particularly a virtual one. And so let's not interrupt each other. Let's try very hard to be respectful of each other. There is no substitute for attending class. The chances of you doing well in this class and not showing up to these discussions it's just not going to happen. You need to hear from your classmates. You need to hear from me. You need to hear all the different ways that we can analyze something and the effective ways that we can write something. And that's going to help you do a better job on your papers and just to do a better job in class. So you need to attend. And you need to participate also. If you anticipate a lengthy absence, and of course this is COVID time, so if due to serious illness or if there's a personal or family struggle, just let me know as soon as you possibly can. Even if you think there's a remote chance that something could happen, like you're like, I'm not sure if this is going to be a bad thing, but it seems like it might be, that's a reason to talk to me about it. Just tell me ahead of time so that I can work something out with you. Even if it doesn't happen, that's great. But if it does, let's have a plan already set. Okay, so talk to me as in advance as far as you possibly can. And that way I can work out a plan to compensate for your absences. If you tell me like a month after you're already absent for 3 weeks, it's going to be really difficult for me to go back and kind of make space for you in that way. So again, don't be a hero. If there's even a remote chance, just tell me and be upfront. You're going to get 3 free unexcused absences. So oops, you slept in, or oops, you wanted to hang out with a friend, or whatever it might be. You get 3 of those. I'm not going to ask questions. You don't even have to come up with an excuse. There won't be any penalty. There's 3 unexcused absences that are all yours. After that, it's going to start deducting in your grade. So think about when you want to use those. Use them carefully, okay? There are such a thing as excused absences. You need documentation for these. You have to inform me prior to the absence or within 2 days of the absence. Some of the valid reasons might be that you have a university-sanctioned event, a physical ailment, military obligations, and court-imposed obligations. Of course, there are other ones that will be excused. Paperwork helps. Be honest with me. We'll figure something out, okay? I absolutely recognize that keeping up to date with online courses can be very difficult. When something's online, it feels like you have forever to kind of do everything. And that's not going to be the case with this. You need to figure out a way to stay scheduled with this course. You need to figure out a way to make time so that you know the night before this class you have certain things that you need to do, and you need to show up during those discussions or you're not going to pass this class, pretty much. So I'm going to have firm deadlines for when lectures need to be watched, when responses need to be turned in. You need to really work hard. It just started raining really hard. You need to work hard to keep up with that. I know that can be really difficult, and obviously I will give you a little leeway in moments, but really aware right now of your own tendencies and make sure that you organize yourself around this class. You need to stay with this schedule, okay? I just wanted to point out again that sitting quietly on a Zoom meeting is extremely painful for all of us. So let's not do that. I hope you can tell by now that I'm pretty relaxed about most things. Let's just have a conversation. It's okay if what you think, what you're thinking about saying, you feel is unproductive. Usually it's not. Usually it gets someone else thinking, someone else talking. Get conversation started. Let's be open and share our experiences. We all come from different places. We all have different relationships to things that we're going to be talking about. Let's share them and be open and make this as tolerable and maybe even as fun as we possibly can. That kind of goes with participation. Make sure you always have the text that we're looking at with you. It can be on your computer, but just make sure that it's there. You're going to receive 2 participation grades. So you'll get 1 participation grade halfway through the semester and then 1 at the end. This means that you can improve. So in the first half of the semester, if you get a grade on your participation that you don't like, and you're irritated about, then you have the whole second half of the semester to make up for that and to do better. If you're fine with whatever you got, then keep doing what you're doing, you know? It's up to you. So you will get 2 grades, which leaves room for improvement. It'll be like a clean slate starting over in the second half of the semester. There is no late work, basically. Classwork and homework cannot be made up. Missed quick writes and reading responses cannot be made up. Late work is going to be docked by 1 letter grade for every day late. I'm really cool with giving extensions. I don't mind that, but you need to let me know in advance so that we can set a new deadline and so that you can meet that new deadline. That's kind of going to be the way that this works. So instead of turning in something 2 days late, just talk to me before the due date and say, I need a couple days. And I'd be like, cool, take a couple days. I want to read your best work. So if that means you need an extra couple days or a weekend to give me your best work, then let's do it. You have to be honest and upfront about it, though. And this goes hand in hand with plagiarism. Usually what causes plagiarism is that someone procrastinated and they ran out of time and they're freaking out about it, and so they just copy somebody else's. Don't do that. Just ask me for an extension. You'll have extra time to put it together. Also, it's going to be through Turnitin, so you'll turn in a plagiarized essay and the system will catch you, and that's embarrassing for you and me. Let's not put each other through that. If you're ever unsure about if you're plagiarizing or not, then just ask me and I'll let you know. Part of it is about quoting correctly, and these are things that I will teach you. So just let's not do it. Let's choose not to plagiarize. You're just going to get caught. It's going to be awful for all of us, okay? Your general assignments require that you turn them in before the deadline. They have to have MLA formatting, which means like an MLA heading, like your name, date, that situation. I'll teach you how to do it. A title, a page number, proper spacing. Once I see your first papers on Moodle and correct that for you, if you don't change the way that you use your heading, then I'll start to dock you points in these minor assignments. I'm going to give you comments on everything you turn in, basically. Even if it's just small ones, I will read it and I will give you comments. If you don't change the kind of work you're doing based on those comments, then I'm going to assume you're not reading them, and then my feelings are going to be hurt, and you'll see that reflected in your grade. All major assignments have to be completed satisfactorily for you to receive a passing grade in this course. And there's a mistake on this syllabus that I'm looking at right now. It says there are 3 major close reading assignments, but actually there are 5 in this class. But they're going to be shorter. They're going to be 3 to 5 pages. I don't want you to freak out about that. We're going to make this work. It's going to be completely okay. So ignore that part of the major assignments. But I will say that you need to turn in something for these 5 major assignments. Okay. Grading, I think you're used to an A through F scale. I just really want to emphasize that a C in this class is actually just average. So that just means you did your work, you did it okay, it was satisfactory, it was okay, I was okay with it. If you want to get an A, you have to go far beyond that. It has to be near perfect. It has to be like really deep analysis, excellent writing, really interesting, pushed it to the next level, and a B falls somewhere in between that. If you're confused about grading, you can always ask me. You're always welcome to come and talk to me about it. That's the grading scale. I think, again, you're familiar. Just so you know, I'm not going to round up. So I'm fairly generous with my grades anyway. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for the most part. So if you end up on, just in between grades, chances are I already pushed you up to that level. So I'm not going to round up. So if you have a 79.99, that's going to be a C plus, not a B minus. Are there exceptions? Probably. So that's something that you can, again, talk to me about. I'm very open about talking about these things. Here's your percentage breakdown. You'll see that there's 5 papers, 3 through 5 pages for each of them. Class participation is 15%, so the first half is 7.5%, second half is 7.5%. Your first 2 papers are 15%, and then 3 and 4 are going to be kind of the big papers that you write. So this is going to be a topic that you choose, that you want to do a little bit of research on, and then the second, the paper 4 that comes out of that is going to be connected to that. So for a span of about 6 or 7 weeks, you're going to be really focused on one topic that you kind of pick. So start thinking about that right in the beginning so that you have an idea of what you're going to be interested in. And those 2 are going to be kind of the bigger papers of this semester. These are the due dates that you can see. This basically just says that you have to turn in good drafts. I'm not going to look at like your rough drafts that haven't been edited at all. I want to see progression from your outlines to your rough draft to your final draft. Like I want to see changes. It's in the syllabus that you have time to do this, so I want to see those changes. I hope that we will figure out a way to do group work. You'll be responsible for carrying your own weight in those groups and speaking up. I know that there's a way to do it on Zoom. I don't know that I figured out how to do it on Teams yet, but I will work on it because I know it can get boring with just us kind of talking for 40 minutes. So I'm going to try to figure something out where you guys can have group work, where I'll be a little bit more hands off. It might not happen. I hope it does. I will do my best. Okay. So you can see, the tentative calendar here. It is subject to change. Mostly I push due dates back if necessary. For the first part of this, we're going to read a lot of personal essays that are kind of about music on different objects. I think you'll like it. We'll find out. You might prove me wrong, and I'll have to reevaluate everything I thought that I knew about everything. But we will see. And then we're going to shift into kind of more spatial analysis. We're going to move further into looking at argument. We'll write a definition paper that goes along with that argument. And in the end, your process analysis paper is going to be about analyzing the way that you write and the good practices that you've used to become a writer. And so I want you to kind of self-analyze in that last paper. And at the end of this is just ADA compliance, disability, and the Southern University Statement of Non-Discrimination. So you can read those at your leisure. Okay. I think that's it for the syllabus. I'm sure that I skipped things. I'm sure that you have questions. Please feel free to ask them. You can send me emails or you can wait till we get together in that first meeting, then we're talking. That's fine. Okay, so let me see if I can stop sharing that. Okay, I think I'm back to you guys. Okay, nice to see you again. And I have one last thing before I sign off. I just want to give you a quick little intro. Okay, sorry, it was hiding. All right. So for Thursday, let's see if I can Okay, so for Thursday, please email me with the following information: your preferred name or nickname. If you think I'm gonna struggle to pronounce it, please try to help me do that. I will always do my best to pronounce your names correctly. You can always correct me on the first day also. Where you're from, and by that I mean, are you from Louisiana? I'm not from the South, so I would love to know where you guys are from and kind of what that means to you if you want to write about it. Your pronouns, a book you absolutely detest, hate, loathe that you had to deal with maybe in high school that you just like, it ruined your life. I want to hear about it. A book you absolutely love. And if you're struggling, I know you can think of a book, even if it's from like when you're from your childhood. That's fine. Think about it. Your least favorite thing about quarantine, like the thing you're the angriest about, the best movie, TV show, or music you listened to or watched over the summer, your biggest concern about this class. So I feel like half of you guys are gonna write, "I'm a terrible writer." Everyone says that, and it's not true. But if that's how you feel, then write that so we can work with that. And then also the names and types of all the pets you have at home, because this is information that I need to know. Okay? To be fair, I'm Caitlin. I'm from Southern California originally, but I did just spend a lot of time in Iowa. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I might be the only person that thinks this, but I hate The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I cannot stand it. It might be because my dad likes it so much. I haven't really thought it through, but I hate that book. I just read The House of Spirits by Isabel Allende over the summer, and it was the first time in a very long time that I've really loved a book. So that's why I put that there. I hate that I'm not able to go to shows or concerts. I miss live music so much. I think that's really what I hate the most about quarantine right now. I absolutely loved The Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I just watched the second season, so that was exciting for me. I am worried that because we're online, you all won't enjoy this class nearly as much as you should, that we won't connect as much as we should, that we won't get out of it what we should. I have a lot of concerns about this, but I'm really hoping that we make the best of it and that it works out. And I have one cat who I'm sure you will meet at some point over the semester. His name is Hunter S. Thompson, and I call him Tom Tom. Okay. Uh, Normally on the first day, I would have you exchange email addresses or phone numbers if you prefer. I'm not legally allowed to ask you for your phone number. I would have you exchange them with classmates so that you have someone to reach out to if you miss class or are confused by anything. So at the end of the email that you send me with all of your information, please let me know if I have permission to give your email address to a fellow classmate. It's absolutely okay if you're not comfortable. You can work out a buddy system with someone else through, I think, probably like private chat or something on Teams. Or you can ask me and I will later figure it out for you. But if you're willing, I will just pair you up with someone so that you kind of have a buddy in the class. So if one of you is absent, you have someone to rely on. Or to just talk to you about how much you hate the class. I mean, I hope that's not the case, but it could be. Okay. And for Thursday, we're going to meet all together for our first class via Teams. Unfortunately, Teams doesn't allow more than 9 people to show up on your screen at one time. It's going to be a little weird, maybe terrible. We're going to have to really just try hard to make it work. I'm going to go to the convocation tomorrow, and hopefully I will then have access to Moodle and email. Regardless, look for an email from either this address or the more official one. And we're going to talk briefly about our past experiences with bad teachers. Or I shouldn't put that in quotes because there are really terrible teachers out there. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to discuss how we can make this class work for all of us. Before we get started, I want you to think about the worst class you ever took and why it was so terrible, and also think about the best one you took and consider why it was so successful. So you're going to have a little project that you kind of do that'll be due the following week with this information, but for now, just think about it, and you can bring your experiences to class and complain about them. I love listening to bad teaching experiences, so I'd be happy to listen. So I think that's it. Welcome back to me. I don't think I have anything else to say. I think I covered everything, but if I didn't and you have a question and I missed something, by all means, reach out to me in that email. Ask me any questions you want. I'll do my best to answer them for you. Otherwise, I'm really excited to get the semester started. I know that it's not under great circumstances, but we're going to make this work. And we're going to do the best that we possibly can. And you're going to learn, and I'm going to learn, and we're going to help each other. Okay? Again, if you have questions, please feel free to email me. Do not hesitate for 1 second. Okay. Bye.